And welcome to Story Circle Toys. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video this week. This video is going to chronicle me trying not to spend any money on the long Matariki weekend. That was a holiday weekend a few weekends ago. At the time, I was saving for the Taupo Collectibles Fair, and I suppose this video might be a little bit of a cautionary tale. What happens when things come up, things are presented to you, and you just can't turn away. You'll see there, doing a run in total for this video. So some of the things were purchased this weekend, and some of them were things that came through during the weekend. So I decided to group them all together. But yeah, I suppose the moral of the story was that really wanted not to spend any money, and I did. So this is the first thing that came up. Now the Matariki weekend was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, I didn't buy any toys. Saturday, me and the girls headed out to Point Chev, and I found this at the local op shop. This is a delicately fragrant Lucy soap. I've never seen one of these before. It is, of course, Lucy, famous from the Peanuts cartoons, always pulling away that football from Charlie Brown. You can see this is a beautiful little box. The soap itself is in amazing condition. This is also something that was produced in New Zealand under license by Dominion and Overseas Agencies Limited. So the copyright date is 1952 on this. I don't believe this was actually made in 1952. I've done a little bit of research. These were produced in multiple countries. And there are other figures, well, soaps like Charlie Brown and Snoopy. But one thing I do notice is that, yeah, and you'll notice here, is there's no barcode on this. So this does put it, at least at the latest, as it would be late 70s. Barcodes, I think, were introduced into New Zealand kind of like 1971. That's when they started getting kind of mass use. So this is definitely very early 70s, maybe 60s. But I've loved Peanuts since I first picked up some books when I was a kid. I think my mum and dad brought them for me, a number of collections of Peanut stories. So I've always been in love. So this was $20. Originally $30 in store, but I said, can we do it for 20? So already $20 down and saving for the Taupo Collectible Show. So that was it for Saturday. On Sunday, we ventured out to Arkham City Comics, which is the premier back issue seller in Auckland. That's Jeremy Bishop runs a great little store out in kind of Onehunga, Royal Oak. And they had a little toy fair where they had a bunch of sellers come into his store to be able to sell. So I picked up a couple of items here. Again, I shouldn't have, but these kind of presented themselves, and I couldn't turn away. So the first one I have there is a little Funho Ford truck. So if you don't know who or what Funho is, Funho was a New Zealand toy company. They first got their start in 1936, producing car child restraints, and then in about 1940 they became Funho properly and started producing. So I think originally sandcast and then die-cast figures. You see there, that's a little made New Zealand Funho is what you're looking for these figures. Funho ran right through to 1987 before it closed. This little Ford truck was produced in very large numbers between 1970 to roughly about 1983. And I love these little Funho, especially because they're New Zealand toys, made in New Zealand. Obviously, it has the patina of age, but I think that just really adds to the toy. So that was $5, leaving a running total of 25. The next item I found from one of the sellers was this Generation 1 Sea Spray. It's definitely Generation 1. I had a quick check. The Generation 2 version of this has the blues metallicized. See there, it's still got the little sticker, which kind of, if you rub it, does, kind of glow, go holographic. It's not in great condition. You see it's missing a couple of its props, but this was a figure that I did actually have as a child. I really loved Transformers as a kid. I had a bunch of toys. I think Grimlock was my all-star. But I had this little guy, so when I saw him, again, he had like $5 on him from the seller. So I unfortunately didn't have $5 in my wallet. I think I only had, well, I had $3 of coins left. I did have some bigger notes, but I didn't want to like break a larger note. So this one I managed to get for a grand total off the seller for $3, taking my total to $28. But I love this little guy, and I suppose this kind of foreshadows the next kind of purchase in the weekend. Now, as I said, I had Transformers as a kid, and this was a nostalgia buy, not necessarily something to start off a collection as such. But later on that Sunday, we went to go see some friends, my dear friend Simon and his girls, with my girls to play with. But I didn't realize they weren't available in the morning. So we went to Takafuna and we ventured into Retrospace. So Retrospace is a fantastic seller. I've shot with Rochelle, who owns the store for many years, and she had this Starscream on the shelf. So this isn't a Generation 1. This is obviously a reissue. I don't think I could afford a Generation 1 Starscream, so 2017. But I mean, this is kind of perfect. The box isn't 100%, and it has been opened. You'll notice that the Starscream does have his stickers on his wings. I believe if he was sealed in the box, the stickers, they wouldn't be on there. But this is a beautiful figure. I know Starscream was a little bit whiny in the TV show, but like the jets were so cool, and I never had a jet as a child. So this was just yeah, really. This was an impulse buy. I intended not to buy anything at Retrospace because I'm actually kind of trying to save to do a video at their store and make some purchases when I'm in store. So I was like, I didn't want to spend anything, or if I did, maybe something like tiny. But this was sitting on the shelf, and I couldn't say no. I kind of blamed my friend Simon. If he'd just been home, I wouldn't have spent the money on the Starscream. But yeah, having something so close to what I had as a child is very cool. You can see here's a little Megatron gun there. So what did this set this back? This was the biggest purchase of the weekend. This set me back a grand total of $80. Again, way more than I was intending to spend. But yeah, this is very much an impulse buy. I don't know why I got it. I think in some future videos I'd like to kind of talk about the meta of collecting. I think it's kind of a fascinating subject, and maybe we can talk a little bit more about this because I did not intend to buy many toys. And this weekend I had a clear goal of going to a Taupo show with the best kind of bankroll reserve that I could. And all these kind of figures came up, and what's the word for it? I suppose in food terms, portion control. My resistance was worn down by coming across some of these cool figures. Now, the next thing I've got here, and I am including it. I suppose maybe it's a little bit of a cheat, but this was a Trade Me auction that I picked up, and it must have arrived on the Thursday, since I don't think the courier's on Friday. So I'm including this in the kind of total calculations for the weekend. Fortunately, again with this seller on Trade Me, it's pretty, it's nicely secure. Some good bubble wrap. It always does my heart good to see that people care about what they ship. And I really need a craft knife on my table so I can get a hold of these. But for the first time, this video again, it's some Star Wars stuff, which of course is kind of like my main collection. So what you see there is these are from the rubbers are from 1983. So we've got here Darth Vader, a Yoda, and a Royal Guard. So I didn't actually realize when I purchased this, but the Yoda is not a rubber. He's actually a pencil sharpener. He's pretty cool, although I have no idea how you get in to remove the pencil sharpenings. So maybe you just filled it up. I didn't try and squeeze or pop anything out. Just I don't want him to get further wrecked. But love my little Yoda, and this is a fine little shelf filler, little to take up that little corner on the Star Wars shelf. Yeah, very pleased to have that Yoda. Although he's not doesn't have a great paint job, but he's got a decent sculpt. So the other two figures, I had some of these when I was a kid. These are of course erasers, and never used for their intended purpose. They are 1983, and this whole sale was not including shipping, $10. So you see there, 83 on the Vader. I'm not sure if I can see the markings on the Royal Guard, but yeah, real happy to have those in my collection. So we are now well heading into triple digits here for the weekend. Now the next one, this was something I did pick up on Sunday. I got an email on Saturday from EB Games. They had a sale for the long weekend, and this came up. They didn't have much in the way of Star Wars on special, but they had this Droid Dakar. If you remember Phantom Menace, which I'm sure you all do, that's such a cool scene when they turn up and start taking on Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. And usually this figure would go for something like about $76. But I picked it up for $32 on special. So I did ordered it online for Click and Collect, and we headed out to the Westgate EB Games to pick it up. So less than half price on what's a very cool figure. The only thing that was in a way kind of disappointing is the box isn't trashed. Often, EB Games, people have played around with the figures. The boxes are kind of trashed, but this box was in mint condition. Pretty close to it. With Black Series, I've kind of always tried to buy loose figures or damaged boxes because being normally an inbox collector, um, this really pains me. I'm not sure if I should open it or keep it sealed. It looks really cool. I'd have to get a case for it, which has additional costs. So many things running through my head. If you're an inbox collector, maybe you understand me. If you like to crack open your toys, you're probably saying, what is your major malfunction? So that's it. So now we're at $150. And what are we up to now? We're up to something like, what's that, 7 toys? So the very last thing I've got on the list here, again, this is another Trade Me auction. And in a second, you're going to see me struggle. It's very well wrapped. It's very well taped. Now, one of the things is I'd completely forgotten about this when my wife, Jess, said, there's another parcel turned up for you. I was like, what? And I wasn't going to open it. Because I wanted to open it on camera. So I completely forgot what it was. With Trade Me, if people don't send you the tracking immediately, it's really easy to forget. And some people do take like days, even weeks to send stuff. And if you're not constantly emailing them, it's easy to forget. I'm sorry for my huge hands on screen, and I kind of knocked the camera a little bit for the section. But what we have coming up here is, again, it's Star Wars, and he's going to come on screen. He's much bigger than I expected, which is strange for such a little character. Drum roll, please. It's the issue of recording this after waiting for Pastor Alan to get stuff onto the screen. And that's me still struggling. And here we go. We have Wicket from Return of the Jedi, the lead Ewok. I suppose if you say the lead Ewok character, certainly a favorite of mine. I absolutely loved Ewoks. And once again, we can get in Return of the Jedi. So this little guy, not including postage, sent me back $31. I absolutely love him. Getting in that, I love Return of the Jedi, and this is a vintage. It is 1983, made in Korea, and I think in fine shape. I haven't checked to see if he did come with any accessories. I've got to check that. The hood is in pretty good condition, no rips. The face maybe has lost a little bit of fur. But it's a soft toy, so I didn't expect him to come for any accessories. Somebody actually bid against me against this one because I think it started off at a $1 reserve. So somebody else, but I got this bad boy, and he'll go somewhere really lovely in my Star Wars collection. So here we go, $181 in the weekend. And yes, I know not all of it was spent on the weekend, but let's combine it all. After trying to save some money, I did spend some money. But sometimes these things present themselves and you have to jump. I don't regret any of them. Well, hopefully I don't regret any. I'm not starting a Transformers collection. These are purely beauty. They'll look fantastic on my shelf. And hopefully I'll get some cases for them. So look, thanks for sticking for this longer video. Next week, I should say, I'm going to have the Taupo Collectibles video, hopefully edited up. Maybe a double upload weekend for next weekend. So please drop a like, subscribe, leave me a comment. That Story Circle Toys out. Thanks all.